And as this potential trade war ramps up, Elon Musk's task force has been pushing to gain access to sensitive government information targeting a federal agency. Chief Washington.
Elon Musk dropped a bombshell on live TV, exposing a secret about Angela Rayner that no one saw coming. The internet is already in a frenzy, and the fallout could be massive. What did Musk reveal, and how will Rayner respond? Let's break it all down. But hey, quick favor before we move on: if you find this political content interesting, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Most of you watch without subscribing, and it's free, but it helps us out so much. Have you done it yet? Thanks a ton for the support. Musk is set to donate $10,000 million to Nigel Farage's Reform Party. If that's true, it would be, as I understand it, the biggest political donation in British history. And it would sure put rocket boosters, if you'll excuse the SpaceX pun, under reform ahead of the next election, wouldn't it? The stage was perfectly set for an unexpected clash that would send shockwaves rippling through the British political landscape. On one side stood Angela Rayner, Labour's fast-rising star, widely recognized for her passionate speeches and deep working-class roots. Opposing her was none other than Elon Musk, the unconventional billionaire infamous for his provocative tweets and audacious predictions, always keeping the world on edge. What do you think about what Elon Musk has been tweeting about Britain and the Prime Minister over the last few days? Well, what I say is that all social media companies have responsibilities as well, to deal with fake news. We've seen a lot of fake information being shared on online platforms. We've seen a lot of hate, and people have a responsibility not to conduct themselves in a way that amplifies that, but actually to deal with online misinformation and not spread hate. We don't want to see that, whether online or offline. People who are spreading violence and inciting violence online will be met with the law, just as those who turn up and try to throw missiles. It all began with what appeared to be a harmless tweet from Musk, casually discussing the future of electric vehicles in the UK. However, Angela Rayner, never one to back down from a heated debate, quickly responded with a sharp critique, calling out billionaires for meddling in politics. What she hadn't anticipated, though, was Musk's reply, a cryptic and ominous message alluding to hidden secrets that might make her reconsider casting the first stone. He'd like to get rid of Sunak before the next general election. He believes that Western civilization is threatened. There's been a lot of pushback. I think the Labour government's policy seems to either be to answer journalist questions by attacking him or else trying to ignore him. But you sort of said that China can't be ignored. Elon Musk is essentially the richest man in the world and, one could argue, perhaps one of the most powerful men in the world. The Twitter clash swiftly captured the attention of major news networks, escalating into a media frenzy. Before long, both Musk and Rayner had agreed to face off in a live televised interview. As they took their seats across from each other, the tension in the room was unmistakable. Rayner radiated her trademark confidence, ready to hold her ground, while Musk maintained his signature enigmatic smirk, unfazed by the spectacle. From the very first exchange, it was evident that this wasn't going to be just another routine political discussion. It was something far more explosive. Musk declared that very few companies would be willing to invest in the UK under the current administration. Now, this wasn't just some off-the-cuff remark. Musk made this statement in response to a letter from Scottish politicians who were hoping to woo Tesla into opening a new gigafactory in Scotland. Musk, notorious for his unpredictable nature, appeared unusually composed and well-prepared. With calculated ease, he sidestepped questions about his own controversies, skillfully redirecting the discussion toward Rayner's past at every opportunity. Rayner, to her credit, remained poised and unwavering. Yet, sharp-eyed viewers could detect a subtle tension creeping into her voice. The mood in the studio took a noticeable turn when Musk pivoted to a broader discussion on the importance of transparency in public life. His words, carrying an unmistakable weight, Musk's words left the audience hanging on his every syllable. I don't think anyone should go to the UK when they're releasing convicted pedophiles in order to imprison people for social media posts. Yeah, blind me. Talk about not pulling any punches. This wasn't just Musk being petty, it actually speaks to a core issue that has been at the heart of his beef with Labour. It's about free speech. Musk's words carried an unmistakable weight as he spoke about leadership and the need for complete transparency. The statement hung in the air, thick with unspoken implications, creating an almost tangible sense of unease. At that moment, viewers at home began to feel that something was amiss. Rayner's carefully cultivated image as a straight-talking, no-nonsense politician wavered, if only for a fraction of a second. It was subtle, but to those paying close attention, it was enough to suggest that Musk's words had struck a nerve. Positioning himself as a champion of free speech, Musk has even gone as far as to brand himself a free speech absolutist. In his view, Labour, under Keir Starmer's leadership, is on the wrong side of this debate. Musk has repeatedly accused Starmer of restricting free speech in Britain. He has taken particular issue with the UK's online safety bill, which aims to regulate harmful content on social media platforms. In Musk's eyes, this is a step too far and potentially stifles free expression online. It's really important. What hidden truths did Musk possess that the public was unaware of? As it turned out, in the weeks leading up to the highly anticipated interview, Musk had assembled a dedicated team of researchers to scrutinize every detail of Rayner's past. They left nothing to chance, combing through public records, tracking down former colleagues, and dissecting patterns in her political career with forensic precision. But the free speech debate isn't the only point of contention between Musk and Starmer. Remember those riots in the UK last summer? Well, Musk weighed into that controversy as well, dubbing the Prime Minister Two-Tirkir. He wasn't the only one. This nickname was Musk's way of criticizing what he saw as unequal treatment in the justice system. He argued that the punishments handed out to those involved in the riots were disproportionate, especially when compared to other crimes. The result? A meticulously compiled dossier filled with revelations that had the potential to dismantle the carefully constructed image Rayner had cultivated over the years. Buried within the findings were a series of connections and strategic decisions that, when pieced together, painted a far more complex and controversial picture of her rise to prominence within the Labour Party, one that threatened to shake public perception in ways she hadn't anticipated. Starmer has made attracting businesses to Britain a central pillar of his economic strategy, at least in theory. With the UK facing low growth and the aftermath of some pretty hefty tax rises, which is putting it mildly, Starmer has been on a mission to woo international investors. So, having the world's richest man essentially giving your country's business climate a thumbs down? Not exactly the ringing endorsement that Starmer was hoping for. Let's not forget what sparked this latest round of tension, the possibility of a Tesla gigafactory in Scotland. These aren't just any old factories. They are massive facilities that produce both electric vehicles and the batteries that power them. Huge. A gigafactory in the UK would mean thousands of jobs and a significant boost to the country's manufacturing sector. So, no wonder that Rayner's reputation as a straightforward, working-class politician was about to face scrutiny. Musk, maintaining a steady and measured tone, brought up a key point. Rayner had built her career on the image of a self-made politician who had worked her way up from humble beginnings. However, his team's research suggested a different narrative. He then presented his findings, records of previously undisclosed meetings between Rayner and corporate lobbyists dating back to her early political career. Rayner's composure wavered for a moment, a flicker of unease crossing her face. No wonder Scottish politicians are eager to get Musk's attention. It would be a huge boom for them. But with Musk's latest comments, that dream seems to be slipping away. And it's not just about Tesla. Musk's words carry weight in the business world. If other tech giants and investors start echoing his sentiments, it could spell real trouble for Labour's economic plans. Where's the growth? It's important to note, Musk wasn't a rival politician looking for an easy win. He was an outsider with vast resources and a track record of shaking things up. He referenced meetings in high-end restaurants, private discussions behind closed doors, and financial backing that had not been disclosed in official records. Each new detail challenged the image Rayner had worked hard to build. The host, clearly uneasy, made an attempt to steer the conversation elsewhere. But Musk continued, making his point clear: the public had a right to know who truly influenced British politics. Labour's impact on the national economy. Although larger businesses seem more confident than smaller ones, Musk's comments tap into a broader concern about the UK's attractiveness as an investment destination. Post-Brexit and with ongoing political uncertainties, quite a lot of investors have been wary about putting their money into British ventures. So how has Labour responded to Musk's latest broadside? Well, that's the interesting part: they haven't, at least not directly. The Labour Party has maintained a conspicuous silence in the face of Musk's criticisms, which could be a strategic move. By not engaging directly with Musk, they avoid giving his comments more oxygen, the oxygen of publicity. To her credit, Rayner did not back down. She pushed back, dismissing Musk's claims as baseless conspiracy theories from a billionaire with too much time and too little accountability. But there was a noticeable difference: her usual sharpness felt dulled, and those watching at home could sense the shift in momentum. By the time the interview wrapped up, the fallout was already in motion. Political analysts scrambled to dissect the revelations, while Labour Party officials convened behind closed doors for urgent discussions. The pressing question on everyone's mind: what would this mean for Rayner's political future? A social media campaign by the world's richest man, Elon Musk, accused Keir Starmer of complicity in what he called the rape of Britain, a failure to crack down on child abuse by gangs. Musk also said Home Office Minister Jess Phillips is a rape genocide apologist. Only this morning, Trump's advisor, Musk, wrote to 211 million followers that Starmer should be imprisoned. The very traits that had once made Rayner a beloved figure, her authenticity and strong working-class background, were now under intense scrutiny. Labour supporters found themselves in a difficult position, torn between standing by their rising star and seeking clarity on the allegations. The uncertainty created a growing divide, forcing many to question what they had once taken for granted. Meanwhile, Musk's image as a challenger to the establishment only grew stronger. His unconventional style highlighted just how vulnerable even the most carefully constructed public figures could be. Regardless of whether people admired or despised him, there was no denying the influence of his actions. As the immediate fallout subsided, one thing became clear: the dynamics of British politics had been permanently reshaped. Ashamed themselves? Embarrassment? I think that woman needs to look in a blimmin' mirror. Maybe Lord Ally can afford to buy her one. The problem we have here, of course, is that this isn't the first time in recent months that senior figures have been in controversy. Now, in America, there are those who are going to be watching Angela Rayner closely. Once a rising star within the Labour Party, she now found herself fighting to restore her credibility. Revelations about her undisclosed meetings with corporate lobbyists cast serious doubt on her long-standing image as a champion of the working class. The political fallout from Musk's exposé was immediate and unforgiving. Her approval ratings took a sharp nosedive, and even some of her most loyal supporters began demanding explanations. Labour's leadership, already navigating internal fractures, now faced a difficult choice. Would they rally behind Rayner and weather the storm? Or would they distance themselves in an effort to contain the damage? This wasn't just about a billionaire and a political party, it was about the future of free speech in the digital age. It was about the challenges of attracting international investment in the post-Brexit economy. It was about the delicate balance between regulation and innovation. So whether you agree with Musk or think he's way off the mark, one thing is undeniable: his words have power. They can move markets and influence public opinion. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's unexpected dive into British politics ignited a wider debate on transparency and accountability in public life. To some, he was a much-needed disruptor, exposing uncomfortable truths and challenging the status quo. To others, his involvement raised ethical concerns. Was it right for a billionaire to wield his vast resources to shape political narratives? Regardless of where one stands, there was no denying the significance of what had unfolded. This was a moment that would leave a lasting mark on British politics. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in our next video.